So this game I'm playing in Walker, I played against Lashbid. They have this Clockwork, Night Stalker, Phoenix, very heavy on the magic damage, and their lineup is very... It just revolves around magic damage and this Lash and this Night Stalker getting their spells off, and this guy obviously. So, I mean, Walker, first, it's all about just getting your normal items, face boots, drums. This is very standard. You don't want to really go for anything else before this. You want to have this one. The first item, you always want to have a small item that makes you useful in the game, make you useful in the early fights, and this is very good for Invoker. It gives you stats, gives you mana regen and move speed. It's kind of what all he needs, really. So after that, it's still pretty much every game you don't want to change this one. You always want to go for Aghanims. Some cases, if you feel like it's really hard to play the game, you might go for Force Staff or something like that, another small item. But most games you can manage to go for Aghanims straight away. So I felt like this game, it's fine. They have the Clockwork, Night Stalker. It's very scary. I had to play accordingly so I don't get hooked and just killed straight away. But for that, you also have an IO who can save me a lot, and it helps me survive in case they go on me. So I felt like this is not too greedy, even though it's very greedy, but it's we can make it work because we have an IO who can save me, and I just play in a way that I don't get caught too much. So then, and this guy also has Aghanims, so he's very strong, and the silence is very good against Invoker. And then he also... So I went for BKB right after. So I mean, BKB this game makes a lot of sense. They have Lash, Clock, Night Stalker, Phoenix, all these heroes. The only thing they have is magic damage. Going BKB, I had to go it sooner or later, so I decided to go it right after going one big item. So yeah, it's pretty standard. This helps us fight into them, and there's no way they can ever kill me with this. So it's just safe item and probably the best thing you can go for. Never can go too wrong when they have a lot of magic damage. And you can also see this guy went for Blink Dagger. In case I went for something else like Linken's doesn't do anything in this game, or Hex, then I'm very vulnerable to this guy's Blink Dagger and this guy's Hook Shot. BKB, very safe, very good. And I mean, this game, so far everything is going well. We're doing quite okay. It's pretty even game. This guy's owning and I'm doing great. But then I realized like I'm kind of a solo core in a way. This guy is very shut down. He doesn't have much farm, and I don't know, he goes for Aghanims. He has a very weird item build. So I feel like, and he's pretty countered by Leshrac and Phoenix and all these heroes. So I feel like this game he might run into a problem of not having enough damage in the lineup and not having a carry who can actually win us the game because this guy doesn't have enough items. So then I decided that probably what we need is, like, I have my defensive item BKB, this is all I need. I'm really fast hero with Invoker, Face Boots, Drums, and Max of X. You can choose, you can go damage, or you can go for like spellcaster build, like Linken's and Octarine and this stuff, but I decided to go for MKB. This item is, first of all, with Io gives me Solar. He bought Solar just so he can buff me up. And then I have Electricity that gives me a lot of attack speed and damage. So now our lineup is coming together. Like, we have me, I'm like very strong. I have a lot of items. This guy is buffing me up, and I have so much damage that none of these heroes can actually tank what I'm doing. This guy cannot egg, I'll just kill it straight away. This guy cannot blink in, I will just straight up BKB and start hitting him. This guy's Bear, he's gonna die very fast. So yeah, MKB makes a lot of sense. It's one of the best damage items in the game for the cost. So then I just go MKB, and then we take a base fight and we win the game. And then I just end the game with Desolator. So this game I'm playing against Furion mid. So lane is Furion is better laner overall, but still Tiny gets a good lane in a way. Like, every level Tiny gets, he becomes stronger and it's easier to play in the lane. So this game I had a very different approach as a Tiny. I decided to max my tree grab, the farming ability, and I played fully on just being a farmer instead of running around. And so you can already see sometimes I go for face boots. This time I decided to just go power treads right away, and then just go for attack speed, go for Midas for farming. It's very good attack speed for Tiny. It's a pretty decent item. I've been experimenting a bit with this, and it's alright for some games, and especially for Tiny, for the attack speed, it's quite okay. The reason I think Midas was decent in this game is because, first of all, I got this super early. 11 minutes in, I have Midas power jets. And then their lineup is quite slow. They have this Void that's just going for Battle Fury. They have a Furion who is farming also. They have a Pangolier. The heroes are very greedy also. They don't really do much. So I just decided that it's safe enough for me to go Midas and just greed it up. And we only have a PA who is going Deso first item, I think. So me greeding up is pretty okay. Like, our heroes are very early game heroes in a way that they want someone to carry them later in the game. So I was like, I'll be the guy to carry them. So this Tiny hero, it's funny because you can play it in different ways. Like, you can be heavy farmer or you can be like playmaker. So this game my approach was very different. I decided to go full farm, S&Y for more move speed and attack speed, and then this Tiny is, once you get to this point, you have AC and S&Y, the hero becomes a monster, and I get it 20 minutes in. Like, the amount of farm I have is pretty insane. And the hero farms so fast once you get power jets and like lots of haste. So my approach this game was very different. I was like the heavy farmer while this guy was like fighting and doing other stuff. And I was just farming. And then once I get these items, we just go and push and end the game. Then you just go for more damage, and yeah. Once you get to the S&Y and Assault Cuirass, their heroes don't really do anything to me. I can just go and hit buildings and they cannot stop me. So yeah, we're just playing for a big timing, me getting huge, and then we just go together, and here you can see we get the rows, and then we just go and push. Yeah, the game ends very fast. I mean, for them, what they have going for them is just they have this Void who's going Battle Fury, probably pretty okay. I mean, Void is not the greatest hero right now, and going Battle Fury it's okay. This hero needs some way to farm up, otherwise he can fall behind really fast. But the thing with this is they have to use all their money to get it, while me as a Tiny, I have it naturally built in. I have a Battle Fury on my third skill. So that's why my hero is like, even though I'm farming all the time, I'm still farming at much faster pace, and I come online much earlier because I don't have to use my money on getting a farming item. So, but then, I mean, they end up having like, I mean, the thing what happens is with this is that they cannot keep up with what I have. So no matter what guys buy, they buy a lot of damage and stuff. It doesn't help because, well, I'm just too big, and they're kind of in a bad position because if this guy goes for BKB instead of MKB, then they have no damage to kill me at all. So in that sense, it's like really hard for this guy to itemize. It's hard for him to go defensive items because they also need damage. So it's really hard for them once I get this big. The thing they should do is try to slow down my farming. They have good heroes for that. Queen of Pain and Furion, they can early game they can come to my jungle and stop me from farming all the time. But they did a great job of stopping them doing that, so our plan worked out great. Itemization is the very important part about Dota, and you always have to actively think about like the way to make the game easier for your team and harder for the enemies. That like what item is it that would make the game like break for them, and sometimes it's just it comes with experience, like what is it that you go for, and sometimes it's you ask help from your team, like what is it that you need, like you're having a hard time against this Void who's chronoing you, like what can I do to help you, and maybe it's gonna be like buy me a solar or buy a Yule so you can use the Void so you can hit me, but all these things is a lot about communication and experience, like what is it that you need, and yeah, just actively thinking what is it that you should buy.